What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel. You're watching Miguel EDC, the channel where we talk everything EDC gear here. And today we got a knife unboxing to do, even though it looks like this box, was already, I don't know, has seen better days. But Lothar knife, I'm not sure exactly the model name. We're about to find out together here in this video. Of course, this knife and every other knife you see in this video will be linked down below. Those who help out the channel want to use those links, but that's entirely up to you and at zero extra cost. Zipper pouch, as you would expect here, pretty standard stuff. We got the paperwork, and boom, here is the knife, wiping cloth, right? And let's see what this one is all about. I know recently, I don't know if it's just a fixed blade thing, but I know karambits have it, but I'm seeing a trend here. Some folding knife companies are putting a key ring hole in the back, so I definitely would love to get your thoughts on it throughout the video, right? Is that kind of your thing? Is that maybe a hit or a miss, right? Feedback-wise, definitely would love to know where you guys stand on that. But this one's interesting, definitely has that going right here. We'll get to that in a moment. Pocket clip is reversible. I wouldn't say deep pocket carry clip unless you don't count the ring and you purposely want the ring to be accessible so you can take this guy out of the pocket. But good news is it is reversible, and we do have big hardware on this thing everywhere except the pocket clip and thumb studs. But speaking of thumb studs, we have thumb stud deployment, both sides. It is a plunge lock, good old plunge lock, button lock, and we have this brown micarta going on throughout. Recess liners, nice and milled for weight reduction. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing deployed here, shall we? Bam, there it is. Future me slapped that model on the screen, or maybe not, because it's called the Bouncer, right? Model the Bouncer from Lothar 14C 28N steel. And don't want any comments down there about the blade to handle ratio, because I think we can all see that for ourselves here, right? You end up with a slightly smaller blade here as compared to the handle, kind of prioritizing the whole ring back there. Now, if that wasn't there, I think the knife would be about this much, right? Which would still be a decent, blade to handle ratio, I guess. But that being said, I do like the kind of blade. This is a beautiful, somebody's going to say reverse tanto, and that's fine. Whatever makes you sleep better at night, I don't mind. I might call it sheep's foot with the harpoon. So harpoon sheep's foot. It does have a flat grind, and it's all blacked out here. And 14C 28N, everyone's favorite budget steel these days. There's a little bit of recurve, right? Just a tiny bit of recurve. This is not, ooh, and it feels nice and crispy there. I will do our scientific test in a moment, but yeah, there's just an ever so slight amount of recurve on it. And as far as the plunge grind situation, I think it's inevitable. You may start developing a smile here pretty soon, early in its life, right? Given what you got going on here. But other than that, we have a captive pivot with the L for Lothar logo on this side. And again, in case you don't know how a plunge lock, button lock works, you have that cylinder right there basically under a coil spring. So when the blade opens, right, it slides in to a cutout on the blade, which is right there. So that slides like that, provides a lockup, and then you push the button to disengage. And there's another cutout on the blade down there, which would then hold the blade in place. There's no D10 ball on this one. So whenever you do deploy, right, which actually pretty decent, pretty good. When you do deploy, right, that plunge lock is creating the whole D10 feel. But I want to say, interesting feel, right, nevertheless, because it got lots of handles. I'm trying to get a handle on the handle, if that makes any sense, because you got quite the amount of handle here. Of course, we can deploy with thumb and reverse flick all day. We can also deploy with the button itself. And let's check the ergo. So obviously you're going to use this curvature here for your index finger. All other fingers follow suit. This is one where you can actually get a full purchase without having to put say a pinky, right, in the actual ring. So I feel like the ring is there perhaps more so as maybe an attitude adjuster if you needed to, or perhaps just a quick deployment out of the pocket. Gives you something to pull right in the back of a Walmart fighting a ninja or something. But yeah, you get the point. I don't know. I don't know that this is necessarily the right call, but I'm open to see what you guys think about it, right? As far as the whole ring situation back there, I do know I'm thinking of the Quechua Venture, and I know that one did the whole ring back there, and I want to say that one did it in a decent way. I know karambits have a good old ring hole, and that's very intentional because of the way you hold and maneuver a karambit. But yeah, I don't know. I'll obviously test this one out here over some time and gather some thoughts on it and see what it's like long term. This is just an unboxing, raw first impressions. But let's do some size comparisons, shall we? Right, let's see how we do here next to a few of the typical knives in the channel. We got the MSI from Microtech rocking those sexy Lex Customs scales right there, right? Check that out. Check out the video on that if you haven't already here on the channel. There's the Microtech Stitch. And word on the street is we might be getting some Lex Custom scales for the Stitch as well. So definitely subscribe, stay tuned for that. But I gotta tell you, man, I've been carrying this one. I've been loving it. It's kind of like a whole different knife whenever you put some nice scales on a knife like this. It already has a premium steel like M390. And it had those FRN scales, which I knew I was gonna upgrade at some point, all right, in its life. So 2023, I got it. 2025, right, got some nice scales. Right, that's a win in my book. And the Stitch is up next. So I'm definitely excited and looking forward to that. Here's some other knives in the channel, the PM2, the Para 3. So it puts it very close to the Para 3 size, just a tad bit smaller, right, still by comparison. Here's the Demko AD 20.5 and the Kunwu Chad, right, looking pretty good there, right, still a little smaller than the, I want to say, yeah, still a little smaller than the 80-20.5, obviously shorter than the Chad. Here's the Civivi Vision FG, very recommendable budget EDC. There's the Kizer Militaw. I'll have these all linked down below if you guys want to check out prices, availability, and variants. And I do have content on all these knives if you guys want to learn more. Just put the knife name Miguel EDC on the YouTube search box and you'll find those videos right away. That is the CJRB Pyrite Light, and this is the Vosteed Porcupine. Yeah, somewhere still a little bit smaller than the Porcupine, obviously smaller than the Pyrite Light. Hopefully you own some of those knives to have more or less a ballpark idea where this one lands. But now to the fun part, or good old scientific cutting test, if you know what I mean. We got a piece of paper here, textbook paper, and some cardboard, 5x zoom for some extra scientific points. And we said this was 14C, 28N. All right, getting some swirls, biting into that paper like nobody's business. Dig in that. Let's get some full slices, shall we? Oh yeah, nice. All right, very good. Also, you know, given the geometry, it's going to be a great utility knife as a utility. You can do utility cuts and draw cuts with this thing all day. Also, dig in this grip right here. This is all of a sudden feeling really good. All right, so far, look at that. All right, dig in that. So definitely can do some puncturing and cutting that way. All right, and then last but not least, a piece of cardboard, single wall, cutting at a diagonal angle here for better performance. All right, very good. All right, not too bad. Going through the material as you would expect. And I did not taper off, right? Even though it's not that recurve, slightly small amount of recurve, right, does help the performance, right? A little bit there, it seems. So you guys rate this thing in the comments on a scale from 1 through 10, 10 being the sharpest, right? You all let me know. Now it is 2025, but we're still doing the whack test for button locks, plunge lock button locks. I don't know. For what it's worth, we'll give it a shot here. Right, here we go. Couple taps. All right, that's really good. And of course, I'll lower the volume so you don't go deaf on me, but a couple more. Yeah, and it seems to survive the subscribe stick of truth right there. And yeah, working pretty good. All right, I don't feel the button getting stuck or anything like that. And the action is pretty smooth on these ball bearings, so definitely gotta love that right there. But yeah, for what it's worth, it survives the whack test, and I don't need to do it any harder than that. I think that about proves the point. I'm not gonna take like 3 steps back and then hit it as hard as possible, because that's just not realistic on a real life scenario and whatnot. But if it can survive what we just did, that means we have a really good button lock system in our hands, and that's all you need to know right there. So I will tell you though that Micarta feels really good, right? Something you would expect from you know, another brand like say Vosteed or Kizer. Definitely is up there as far as quality goes. And we do have, again, that milling on the inside for weight reduction, so that's also nice. Speaking of weight reduction, let's see where this guy lands here really quick. Weight on it, I'm going to say between 3 and 4 ounces. Not even. Well, I mean, a lot closer to 3 ounces. 2.7 to be exact, or 76 grams. All right, 2.7, really not that bad on the weight department at all. Sign me up. Again, you guys know me, I love carrying a heavier knife as much as I love carrying a lighter knife, so it don't make that much of a difference for me. And as far as your measurements here, right, of course, you got a blade that is about 2.5 inches, right? That is the cutting path, by the way. The actual blade is also 2.5 inches. Now, the handle, yes, I'm going to include the ring because you just can't make the ring disappear out of the blue. The ring is part of the handle, so I guess we're going 4.75 on the handle. If you want to get technical and not include the handle, right, 3.75, but you got a whole inch. You got a whole inch worth of ring back there. So I don't know. Again, still the hot topic, the hot takeaway for the video. Guys, let me know in the comments, right? Is that your thing? Should more companies do more of this, or should they do less of this? And if you do end up using the ring a lot on your day-to-day, right, I would definitely love to hear from you in the comments, right? What purpose, use do you have for it, and how does it come handy for you, right? Let me know in the comments. Let's hang out in the comment section, guys. Would love to hear from you guys. What do you like about it? What do you love about it? Is there anything you hate about it? Let me know. Hope you guys really enjoyed this one. If you made it to the end, you're the real MVP. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one, either this one or this one. Peace.